Global Enterprise AI enables the creation, configuration, and management of artificial intelligence agents, thus driving new, forward-looking ways of working. And what is an artificial intelligence agent? It is a system designed to perform specific tasks with a certain degree of autonomy. It is capable of perceiving its environment, processing information, making decisions, and taking actions to achieve specific objectives. So, while an assistant responds, an agent decides and acts. All right, we enter the console, and to work with agents, we select the lab from the side menu. This new interface allows you to work with agents, integrations or tools, agentic processes, and flows. It is possible to customize the interface by switching between light or dark mode, as well as changing the language. To create an agent, we can do it in an assisted way. Using Iris, which is an integrated agent that helps define all the components of an agent. We can create it manually, or we can import it. As a first example, let's create an agent in an assisted way. That helps a sports training team prepare their athletes before a competition. We press Start with Iris and see a window where we begin to interact with this integrated agent. And what should we indicate here? The prompt, that is, the set of instructions we must give the model to clearly express what the agent should do. The clearer and more specific that instruction is, the better the response will be. The prompt is therefore the way we communicate with the artificial intelligence model. All right, in our example, we specify, so you are an agent that helps a sports training team prepare their athletes, suggesting physical exercises, dietary guidelines, and general recommendations for the proper preparation of athletes before a competition. You should also consider characteristics of the city where the competition will take place, such as the altitude. We can also specify the name we want to give the new agent or let Iris suggest one. For the purposes of this example, we specify that its name will be Sports Advisor. We press Enter or the Send button, and the process of creating the new agent begins. It is advisable to pay attention to this process in case Iris requests any specific information. Once finished, we see that each section of the agent's configuration has been completed, such as the name, the purpose, its role, and the set of instructions. Although all this information was filled in automatically, it can be modified if deemed necessary. For example, it is possible to add sample responses and specify how the agent should present itself. In the AI and Tools tab, you specify the model to use, the reasoning strategy, the level of creativity in the agent's responses, and the maximum number of tokens to be used in the response. Now, an agent can integrate components, tools, or other agents to accomplish its task. These integrations are indicated in this section, Tools and Agents. In our example, Iris automatically integrated the web search and web scraper tools because she considered them useful for the agent's task. In this case, these are public tools that do not require any configuration, but there are public tools that do require configuration, such as the use of certain credentials, and it is also possible to define private tools. The ADD option allows you to see the available tools and manually integrate them into the agent's definition. All right, we save the definition of the new agent, and to test it, we press Run Test. We ask it to provide us with suggestions regarding nutrition for preparing football players before a match in Lima, Peru. It is worth mentioning that it is also possible to test the agent's behavior from the playground or workspace option. Let's look at another example. Now we are going to create a new agent, but this time we will do it manually. The goal is to create an agent that receives a document and is capable of generating an objective and professional summary. From the Agents panel, we select New Agent manually. We must then fill in all the necessary information. For the agent's name, we enter Professional Summary Agent. For the purpose, we specify expert agent in summarizing documents in a neat and professional manner. It receives a document and returns a clear, concise, and structured summary. For the role, we indicate specialist in document summarization. For background knowledge, we specify you are an agent specialized in creating professional document summaries. You possess advanced skills to identify main ideas, synthesize information, and structure clear summaries. Let's move on to the instructions section. We specify your goal is to receive a document and return a neat and professional summary. Receive the complete document from the user. Read and analyze the content, identifying the main and secondary ideas. Summarize the information, eliminating redundancies and irrelevant details. Write a clear, concise, and structured summary, maintaining a formal and professional tone. If the document is lengthy, prioritize the most relevant information. In the AI and Tools tab, we specify the GPT-41 mini model. And as a reasoning strategy, we choose chain of thought. This chain of thought enables complex reasoning capabilities through intermediate reasoning steps. Next, we set a low level of creativity since this task requires objectivity and a consistent response that is limited to the strict summary of the received document. Here we specify 5, which is the default value. For the maximum number of times people will iterate a response, avoiding infinite loops. We specify about 8,200 tokens. This value indicates the length of the response from the agent. A high limit allows for long and detailed responses. All right, we save the agent's definition and test its behavior. We press Run Test or test it from the playground. From this indicator, we select File and upload any document, for example, the basketball regulations. We ask it to make the summary, press Send, and get the response. Finally, it's worth mentioning that it's also possible to export and import an agent. If we go back to the Agents panel and click here on More Options, we see that we can delete it and also export it. The Export Agent option generates the agent's entire configuration in JSON format, including references to the tools or subagents it uses. This functionality allows it to be easily imported into any other project by simply using the new agent, then the Import Agent option.